Hey, that's true. As first of all, we did a video. Man, there's some House of the Dragons
Yeah.
photos.
Yes. That was cool. I think one of our videos up there is like, who is this? And it's like, is it the Knight of Kisses? Is it Sir Kyle Corey? Is it, it's just some Valerian stuff, right? House Valerian. So that was cool. And the photos look great. I'm loving it.
Yeah, there's a lot of beach footage. There's some sort of council going on there. We're not entirely sure. We've seen young Rhaenyra. We've seen young, possibly Laenor Valerian. So looking pretty awesome. It feels good. You know, a lot of people don't even know, hey, that Wheel of Time, it's coming too.
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't know that Westeros is about to be back.
Yeah, and that's the cool thing. You said that, and I thought, you're right. A lot of people don't know. And our good buddy Tom, I was talking to him the other day, he didn't know Wheel of Time was coming out with a show, and he didn't know House of the Dragon was coming out. And he's into fantasy and a big-time fantasy reader, and I'm like, man, there's a lot of folks who don't know this is even coming. So we're prepping, laying the groundwork, getting ready for it. Yeah, looking at the images. And
so remember, I was talking to you. I found a post on Reddit where somebody broke down this is on the Song of Ice and Fire Reddit, or it might have been the Game of Thrones. I can't remember. Regardless, he broke down exactly when filming was going on to how long it took before we saw the first bit of footage to when the show came out. And so he said that's just sort of HBO's schedule. It seems to be the way that they do everything. Mm-hmm. So he was saying that actually the timing of this lines up with around season 6 of when that happened, when they filmed and stuff. So I know they're saying April, but he's saying we may see the first bit of footage in November.
That would be insane. That would be sick. Go for it. I mean, start prepping. Yeah, get holidays, people getting ready for it. You've got, that's a great time with other fantasy series hitting, right? Wheel of Time, Witcher, so on, whatever. Get ready for this thing. Good for them. God, dude. I think
I'm ready.
I've been thinking about the House of the Dragon a bit more. And I thought, okay, the cool thing about Game of Thrones was we didn't know how it was going to end. You got to that point where it was like book readers can just F off because it didn't matter. Right. I mean, it was like, it just what, and clearly right. Season 8, it didn't matter. So I've been thinking, does it matter? Like, how am I going to read into this? Am I going to be seeing things and thinking like, oh, I know exactly how that's going to go down and be discouraged? No, I thought more about this. There is so many things that they're going to change and alter and do because it's good TV. And they know the outline of Fire and Blood is there. They're going to do it. House Valerian is an example of all of that. And I think there's little tiny nuggets, things that aren't answered, questions that will be answered, and we're going to be shocked. We're going to be like, oh my God. We as the book reader are satisfied by that answer. And if you didn't read the book and you had no idea about Fire and Blood or the outline or whatever, you're going to think it's sick too. So I think that's going to happen.
Right. And I guarantee that the majority of people I'm sure that the people who read Fire and Blood and some of the histories is far less than the people who read just the main series because they were watching the TV show. But still, because it's so vague, it introduces the opportunity to create tons of minor sort of characters that are show only, right? Because they don't even exist in the books because the books is pretty vague. And we're going to root for those characters, and it's going to be just like Game of Thrones. We're going to be rooting for them. Then season 4, wow, they just killed this person. I mean, go back and think, especially for show watchers who are just getting into the books for the first time or didn't read the books, or even if you had read the books, there's a difference of seeing it on screen, right? Think about the first time you watch, or maybe don't, because it's a traumatic experience. When you saw Ned Stark die, gosh,
yeah.
When you saw the Red Wedding, like how insane it was. Like, oh, I cannot believe they just did that. Yeah, we knew it was going to happen, and it was like, I can't believe it.
I know. It's just the way it goes down. You're just like, it's so much more. It's violent. It's brought to life, and you're re-experiencing it. And it's that's going to happen. You're right that stuff's going to happen in Fire and Blood, and so whether you've read it or not, we're still going to be kind of blown away by how they pull it off, how they show it, when it happens. That you can move sequence of stuff around, And we got flashbacks involved in this now too. You pulled up kind of the young Rhaenyra, Laenor stuff. So they're going to do things in a different way that's going to be entertaining for both book reader and show watcher only. And I think that's just encouraging.
And I might go as far as to say, I mean, it's hard to say that it'll be better than Game of Thrones because, I mean, Game of Thrones, like, statistically the best television show in history. Won the most awards. That means it's the number one. Rings matter, right? Just like in sports. It's all about the championships. So yeah, but the difference though is go back to when Game of Thrones started and think about the landscape on television. We didn't have like Disney Plus and Amazon Prime. It was pretty much like you just back in the day when it was just HBO and Cinemax and Stars or whatever. That's sort of your alternative to network television. And it's like on sort of your like your 4, 6, 12, whatever, 28, whatever your sort of antenna channels, that you can show up to a certain level. Then you get to cable, which is like FX and TBS and stuff like that. Okay, you can show just a bit more. But then I think that's one of the things with Game of Thrones was because it's on HBO, and HBO had a history of showing these shows that are a lot gritty, a lot darker. There's you can show nudity and have excessive violence and sort of swearing. You go back and you look at the history of HBO shows, and I mean HBO had been to that point had been knocking it out of the park. I mean, a lot of people considered The Sopranos to be the greatest show in the history of television. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's still considered to be like just a masterpiece of a show. The Wire had been excellent. Deadwood we watched. Loved that. And then you hit Game of Thrones. But now, think about it, like then the competition for that type of a show didn't really exist. And so with competition, typically it's going to inspire you to have to be bigger and better. Because now we find ourselves in, we wish you good fortune in the streaming wars to come, my friend.
Yeah.
Okay? Because now the streaming wars are upon us and, you can go anywhere you want and get, massive quality beyond sort of regular television shows. People go to Netflix to watch Stranger Things. You can go to Amazon Prime to watch The Wheel of Time, right? And you can go to Disney Plus and watch The Mandalorian and the Marvel shows. Well, now, this is HBO's, I would say, first like mega show that's coming to HBO Max. And they're getting ready to switch it all over and partner with Discovery and all this stuff. And it's going to be their here's our prime show. It's our franchise quarterback.
Right. And so you've got to everything's got to be prepped and ready and looking good. You got Matt Smith in on this, which is a big deal. So you got some big names and good actors and no names and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, you want to march out here and this has got to hit, right? You're going to have promotional stuff for it, and it's going to be drawing in all of your old Game of Thrones people, new, just whatever. HBO Max is going to reach out and has gotten new subscribers and stuff. So it's got to look good out the gate, keep people locked in for season after season, and then grow from there. So it's going to be epic. There's just no way it's not going to. They're going to throw money at it. It's going to be epic.
And exactly. While there may be less White Walkers, there will be more dragons.
Yes.
Everybody's got a dragon. It's like Oprah. You get a dragon. You get a dragon.
Yeah.
Everybody's got one.
That's true. Yeah, which is sick. And then, there's that extra magical element. Look at what they're doing. There's that rumor that they're going to have a Corlys Velaryon show, right? We could have his voyages and stuff like that. So you're going to have spin-off shows. This is what people want. You want like what Avengers did. You want this verse that is a Marvel verse where it's connected. Same thing in Star Wars. They're doing the Filoni / Mando verse, and we need this here in Game of Thrones. So let George write mini stories, outline some stuff, give them some context, give him the blessing. He's got the 5-year contract or whatever. But let's do it. Forget Winds of Winter. We don't need it. Let's go back in time.
Yeah, I'm down for Winds of Winter, and it's great, but I'm also I'm on a scale of 1 to 10. Now that we're seeing more of these photos, again, we did a video on that where we're seeing a lot more of these House of the Dragon set photos and stuff's coming out, and we're seeing the costuming. The hype train for me is at a 10 out of 10, but it's going to be at like 50 out of 10 when we get that first trailer, which again might be November. We're certainly going to get something at the Super Bowl. I would say for sure we're getting a Super Bowl commercial.
Yeah. Yeah.
If it's gonna be if it's gonna be March, April.
Right. Yep, I'm with you, man. I think so. I think the hype is building. We're going to continue to build the hype ourselves, and it's just going to be freaking epic. Before we go any further, though, and